Hi students, this video is to help you understand your form N-400. I will explain the vocabulary first, then give you some possible questions for your interview. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Form N-400, Part 10. Part 10. Information about your marital history. Number 1. What is your current marital status? Marital status. What is your current marital status? Number 2. If you are married, is your spouse a current member of the U.S. Armed Forces? Member of the U.S. Armed Forces. If you are married, is your spouse a current member of the U.S. Armed Forces? Number 3. How many times have you been married? How many times have you been married? Marital status. Marital status. Married, single, divorced, or widowed. Number 1. What's your current marital status? What's your current marital status? Number 2. How many times have you been married? How many times have you been married? Number 3. How long have you been married? How long have you been married? Number 4. If you are married, is your spouse a current member of the U.S. Armed Forces? If you are married, is your spouse a current member of the U.S. Armed Forces? If you are married now, provide the following information about your current spouse. A. Current spouse's legal name. Current spouse's legal name. B. Current spouse's previous legal name. Current spouse's previous legal name. C. Other names. Other names. D. Current spouse's date of birth. Current spouse's date of birth. E. Date you entered into marriage with current spouse. Date you enter into marriage with current spouse. 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 Husband or wife. Number 1. What is the legal name of your current spouse? What is the legal name of your current spouse? Number 2. What is your wife's date of birth? What is your wife's date of birth? Number 3. What's your date of marriage? What's your date of marriage? Number 4. When did you enter into marriage with your current spouse? When did you enter into marriage with your current spouse? Have you been married just once? Have you been married just once? If you're divorced, you may need to answer the following questions. Number 1. Why did you get a divorce? Why did you get a divorce? Number 2. Can I see a copy of your divorce decree? Can I see a copy of your divorce decree? F. Current spouse's present home address. Current spouse's present home address. G. Current spouse's current employer or company. Current spouse's current employer or company. Number 1. Where does your spouse live? Where does your spouse live? Number 2. What's your current spouse's present employer? What's your current spouse's present employer? Number 3. What does your spouse do? What does your spouse do? Number 5. Is your current spouse a U.S. citizen? Is your current spouse a U.S. citizen? Number 6. If your current spouse is a U.S. citizen, you have to complete the following information. Number 7. If your current spouse is not a U.S. citizen, please complete the following information. Number 1. Is your spouse a U.S. citizen? Is your spouse a U.S. citizen? Number 2. If your spouse is a U.S. citizen, when and where did your spouse become a U.S. citizen? If your spouse is a citizen, when and where did your spouse become a U.S. citizen? Number 1. If your spouse is not a U.S. citizen, what's your spouse's country of nationality? If your spouse is not a U.S. citizen, what's your spouse's country of nationality? Number 2. What's your spouse's immigration status? What's your spouse's immigration status? Number 3. What's your spouse's A number? What's your spouse's A number? Number 8. How many times has your current spouse been married? How many times has your current spouse been married? If your current spouse has been married before, Provide the following information about your current spouse's prior spouse. Number 1. How many times has your current spouse been married? How many times has your current spouse been married? If your spouse has been married before, you may need to answer the following questions. Number 1. Who was your current spouse's prior spouse? Who was your current spouse's prior spouse? Number 2. What date did the marriage end between your husband and his ex-wife? What date did the marriage end between your husband and his ex-wife? Number 3. How did their marriage end? How did their marriage end? If you were married before, provide the following information about your prior spouse. Previous, before. Prior spouse, ex-husband or ex-wife. Do you have a previous marriage? Do you have a previous marriage? If you have a previous marriage, you may need to answer the following questions. Number 1. What was the name of your ex-husband? What was the name of your ex-husband? Number 2. What was your prior spouse's immigration status? What was your prior spouse's immigration status? Number 3. How was the marriage ended with your prior spouse? How was the marriage ended with your prior spouse? Number 4. When was the marriage ended? When was the marriage ended? Thank you for watching. If you like my video, please click on like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon. Bye.